What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we're going to look at rehab exercises for golfer's elbow. The technical term for this is medial epicondylgia because the area that's affected is right here at the medial epicondyle on the arm. So the muscles that move our fingers, that flex our fingers and flex our wrist, they come through this top side of the forearm and then attach here on the medial epicondyle. So if you've got pain right in the region of that bone, stay tuned for today's exercises. So golfer's elbow is technically a tendinopathy. It's a pain that affects tendons in our body. If we look at the research on tendons, they really do best with resistance training exercises. So we're going to look at 3 exercises that essentially target the finger flexor muscles, the wrist flexor muscles, and then the last one will be for a muscle called pronator teres that rotates our forearm, also attaches on that medial epicondyle. Okay, so for the first exercise, we're going to do a grip strengthening exercise. There's tons of tools out there you can use for strengthening your grip. I've got 2 that aren't even for this purpose, but they actually work well. One's a collar for a barbell set. I'm going to use this to work on grip strength. Sometimes just a ball can work well for kind of working grip strength. If you don't have a tool like these, I'll put a link to some other tools we like to use in PT down in the description. So just check those out if you need a grip strengthening tool. So what we're going to do, I'm going to use this collar because it actually works pretty well. You're just going to set yourself up with all these exercises where your arm is supported. This could be on a table or a bench like this, and with your wrist and hand kind of hanging off. So for grip strengthening, again, we're working our finger flexors, which go up there and attach on the inside of the elbow. So we just want to strengthen those. So you could do exercises where you kind of squeeze in and hold and do an isometric contraction where you just hold the contraction like this. If your pain is really acute right now, isometrics have good research for helping pain calm down. And what you would do with this is hold for 30 to 45 seconds and just hold it there and do 4 to 5 repetitions like that. If this is pretty easy, your pain isn't too severe, then you could just sit and do repetitions. So I could just grab this and work on my grip strength, just kind of pulling in and out and doing reps like that. Like other resistance training exercises, I'd shoot for 3 sets of around 10 to 15 repetitions and just working those finger flexor muscles. You can see some of the tendons here, squeezing those fingers, contracting my finger flexor muscles. That will put tension on the tendons up here and help them calm down and heal. Okay, so again, you could also do that with like a ball. I've got a ball here that's kind of more of a soft tissue release ball, but sometimes these work well for squeezing, working grip strength, and helping those tendons become stronger and less painful. Okay, so that's our first exercise, grip strengthening. Our second exercise is going to be for our wrist flexor muscles. So now I'm going to take a dumbbell. I've got one that's 5 pounds, somewhere probably in the 2 to 5 pound range is what you're looking for. With all of these exercises, you want it to be challenging, but you don't want to really have more than mild to moderate pain. With tendon rehab, it's okay to have some discomfort as long as you're not worse the next day. If you're worse, then it means you need a lighter weight or you got to do fewer repetitions. So what you're going to do for this one is hold the dumbbell so that it's not a super tight grip in your hand. You're going to let it, your hand is going to kind of open at the bottom, which will work those finger flexors again while we're also working the wrist flexors. So essentially I'm going to do these wrist flexor curls where as I go down, I let my fingers kind of open and then the fingers curl up and then my wrist curls up, which is working my wrist and finger flexors on that anterior side of the forearm again. So just up and down like that, nice and slow, especially on the way down, this eccentric contraction. Try to think about spending 3 to 4 seconds on the way down, and you can go a little faster through the concentric part. Again, 3 sets of 10 to 15 repetitions. If this were too painful, say your pain were really severe, you could do just the eccentric. So what I could do is start up here, lower the weight. Our muscles are always stronger eccentrically, and we have good research for this in tendon rehab. And then at the bottom, the other hand takes it, you reset, pass the weight back to it, and then do just the eccentric. Okay, so this is a little bit more if your pain is really more irritable and more acute, then you would do just the eccentric with the goal of eventually building up to a full range contraction, both concentric and eccentric contractions. Okay, so that's our second exercise, a wrist and finger flexor combination movement. Our last exercise here is going to work our pronator teres muscle, which crosses at an angle here and again attaches also on that medial epicondyle. I'm going to use my same dumbbell, but instead of holding in the normal position on the handle, I'm going to hold the end of the dumbbell And what I'm going to do here, I turn my body, because this is a rotational movement, so I want you to see this. I'm going to rotate so that my palm faces up really slowly. This is going to work my pronator teres muscle eccentrically right here. And then when I get to horizontal and maybe a little bit past, I'm going to use that pronator teres muscle to pronate my forearm and rotate back up. So just to vertical. If I go the other way, it actually works my supinator muscle, which would be more for tennis elbow. So I'm going to start here at vertical, slowly lower into supination. My pronator teres muscle is contracting eccentrically to control this movement down to this level. And then I'm going to use that pronator teres muscle to create pronation and bring the dumbbell back up to a vertical position. So like the other exercises, go for 3 sets of 10 to 15 repetitions. Really think about moving slowly on this eccentric part, 3 to 4 seconds through that movement. Really control it and then back up. Okay, so those are our 3 movements for golfer's elbow. We've got grip training, wrist flexion, and then resisted pronation for that pronator teres muscle. If you've got any questions, put them in the comment section. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.